It's awesome already.
Dave, this chair's probably sucked to play guitar in.
This evening we have James L. Bills, the creator of our first film. It is called Slayer Zed and the City of the Dead, and we have Clinton Milbury, who has journeyed all the way from Houston, and his buddy Rich, and Rich's buddy Rex. And Rex is with us tonight just to watch over things. Rex, tell him about it.
Tell me, Rex.
Tell him, Rex.
Boy, speak.
Tell him. Tell him. Tell me.
He yodels when he wants to.
Tell me. He'll do it later. Yo, we've had a lot of fun over the last 4 years, and I'm real proud to present to you tonight 2 independent films that have never been seen before. This one coming up here is called Drain You, and it was made by a man from Houston, Texas, via a long string of other places as well. He is one of the most fascinating people I've ever had the pleasure to meet, and I would like you to give a very warm welcome to Clint Milbury. How are you, Clint Milbury? I'm sorry I mispronounced your name earlier.
Just fine, Phil Dripson.
That's fine, Dripson. Drippy, yes. Yeah, but I think if you do decide to go into a line of baking products, that would be a good thing.
Well, you know, actually, that's part of my plan is to conquer the baking world.
Right.
Or you have the dough boy.
The dough boy thing going on, and yeah,
I'll be my own dough boy.
Good plan. All right, let's talk first. And you, there are so many interesting facets to you.
Oh my goodness.
No, and this is absolutely true. A friend of mine named Greg found a story about you in the Houston Voice, and he sent me a link to it. And I said, well, golly, it'd be neat if I could show that movie for the Halloween show. And push came to shove, and we were in touch. And you're just one of the most fascinating people I've met. And I know, but you've got to understand. I mean, I know Andy.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start talking about the movie, or how personal can I get with you? Because you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, it's your show, so feel free to get.
If I cross a line, I want you to reach across here.
My lawyers are actually all set, so they'll run up here.
I don't care about your damn lawyers. If I cross a line, I just want you to reach over here and take a poke at me.
Okay.
Okay. And that'll
Any
set it.
particular place?
You just go
Right in the eye.
First off, soon after you made this movie, you developed a really nasty habit, which was?
I had a pretty terrible addiction to something called crystal meth that pretty much rocked my world and sent me into a downward spiral. Right around the time after we wrapped this film up, when I started this film, I was living in, well, actually, before I started this film, I was living in Los Angeles and been living there since 1995. In 2001, I came home to help my father deal with my stepmother had leukemia. And I'm going way around here. And I returned to Los Angeles after being home about 11 months. And when I got back to LA, I had a relationship that had gone south. And
welcome to Los Angeles.
It's not a real hotbed for good relationships, but it just had a lot of things had come to pass as far as like the way that I dealt with issues, and drugs were part of that for me. And I had worked for a lot of people in Hollywood that used and
it flows like a great river.
It does. Unfortunately, I sought out people that were that had that connection, and I really tied it to my creativity, which was really unfortunate because I had always been creative prior to ever using any drugs.
Tell me about the experience of crystal meth.
Well, the thing of it is
do you snort it? Do you smoke it? Do you drink it down? Do you shoot it in your arm?
I guess people can do it. There's all kinds of different ways to do it. My means and ways of choice, if I had my choice, would be to smoke it. And so somebody had come over, I'd met somebody, and they'd come over with a pipe that was about the size of this microphone right here, and they pulled out a pencil torch, which most people use for soldering, and just blew this big thing of smoke in my face, and it just all of a sudden I just changed. You know, I just all the sadness and everything just like lifted away, and along with it was my ability to care about anything anymore, really, to the point where my just basic means and ways of living just kind of went by the wayside. So,
What intervened?
there was so many things that took place for me during the course of my usage that for maybe any normal person I think would have been like, hey, maybe you ought to stop what you're doing, you know, but for some reason it was just kind of like, I didn't see it. I mean, I was arrested, you know, several different times. After having never been arrested before, I was evicted from my building after having the rent paid up a year in advance. I was homeless on the streets, running around, running amok, losing everything, not just money and possessions.
Just curiously, what's it like to run amok? I don't think I've ever done that.
I'll tell you, it's quite liberating, actually.
Really?
You know,
Maybe later, we'll go down to Liver Street and just run amok. Did you like
Actually,
that?
I've run amok enough.
Okay,
I've had my fill of
maybe
running
just
amok.
show me how, and then I'll run amok down Liver Street.
It's quite liberating to lose everything that you have. You know, it really reduces one to the
I can imagine
least
that.
common denominator.
It doesn't sound like something I would really want to do, but you're absolutely right. If you have nothing, there's nothing else to lose.
That's correct.
Write that down. I want to write an Eagles song there.